Oh. Well, it's going to stay 80s all week. Okay, I'll take that. Wait, that's Medford. No, that's Roseburg. Okay.
The river's cooling off. It dipped below 70 the other day.
Already? Mm-hmm. It must be getting cold in the mountains again already.
Summer's over.
Oh, boo. This
Your aloha
summer
August is dead.
felt fast.
I'm gonna need you to burn your Hawaiian shirt.
This doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, it's your only option now.
I feel like we need to get you out more. That is not a use of creative options at all.
It might stream well.
Okay,
You might get a lot of
are we
views.
streaming now?
Yeah.
We're live? Okay. We're going to make this up on the fly. What else is new, right? Here we go.
It's been a long time since I haven't had a script in front of me. This is dangerous territory.
Oh, what could go wrong?
A lot could go wrong.
Compliance.
Don't say that, Matt. No. You can't.
All right, gang. Guess what time it is? It is time for the True Wealth Radio Show on this, the greatest Tuesday you have had all week. And I am stoked to be in studio with
Matt Dixon.
Matt.
Yeah.
We are making this show up in real time. We are going to be tapping into your expertise in a unique way today. Ladies and gentlemen,
none.
We're featuring Matthew Dixon, who is probably the most aggressive, to the point of being impractical, deal sniffer outer in our office, perhaps.
I love a good deal.
Yeah, Matt loves a good deal so much that he forgets to value components of it, and it stops actually being a good deal, but it still felt like a good deal. So that
is
all
really
counts.
what the show's about.
It's like, was it a good deal? Like, really? Oh,
we'll
man.
let the listeners decide. How about that?
Yeah.
Pull in, text us.
Well, I've got to tell you where this came. Like, can we give just the backdrop of how we arrived
Do it.
here?
Yeah, go for it.
So we're talking about, what did we talk about today? And Matthew says to me, what is the most prolific topic right now that everybody's asking about? And I very sarcastically said, robots.
And I thought you were pretty close.
And he's like, not bad. And I said, well, what is it? And your response was?
Flock cameras.
And I was like, flock those cameras. I don't even know what that means.
$100,000 fine.
I said, what the flock are you talking about? And no, I mean, that I've just always wanted an excuse to get away with that on the radio and not get fined. So,
Well, you found it. You're welcome.
what is a flock camera?
Flock cameras are scanning your license plate, they claim, and using that for surveillance purposes. Like, what if someone kidnapped someone and you knew the license plate? You could call it in, and if that city where the kidnapping took place happened, you, in theory, the police could use their database to scan hundreds of cameras, and boom, they identify where that vehicle is.
So the concept is simply, flock cameras are
Real-time surveillance.
the idea that you have a network of cameras all over the place tied into both artificial intelligence and big data.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, those are not the same thing, if you were wondering. Okay, big data is just all of the information that's being captured, and then artificial intelligence gives you these tools with which to sort and utilize the data. And they now have cameras, and I know because we have them at our office.
Yeah,
We actually have some vandalism and issues like that. So we have cameras at the office, and it's pretty amazing. You pull in, and we actually the cameras can read your license plate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like they can at really
long distances,
weird, long distances,
at night,
at aggressive
dark
angles,
Yeah.
at varying lighting conditions, and so it's this idea that, in theory, if the government were to tap into all of these, and then they could make a surveillance state out of it.
Right.
And many of you guys probably are saying,
Facial
like, I knew it, and,
Yeah.
and the other is, they kind of already are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There are lots and lots of cameras. And so the question is just, how much are we volunteering this, and how much of it is being done in a clandestine fashion? Hard to say.
the lines are really blurred. We don't know.
Yeah. But the purpose of, we thought about, like, well, how do you turn that into a financial show? It's a kind of spooky topic. And now you got to tell them where it came from, because you started to talk about online market manipulation, essentially.
Yeah, there have been reports that have been confirmed that like there have been certain grocery stores out there, mainly like the online ones, right? But they're not all doing this, so don't have too much panic. But basically real-time price changing, right? And you've seen the digital barcodes, but it's a lot easier to get away with this online, where they would track your spending habits. They would know tons of data points about you, because remember, your information's out there in one way or another. Some people have a lot more information out in the ecosphere than others. But if they know that you're more prone to spend more money, you might get a different price than the next person.
Right. And by the way, this information isn't necessarily information that you volunteered, like everybody's scraping your email and things.
Right. People buy information.
Well, but not just that. They figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, we can tell where you are based on where your cell phone is,
Yep.
and we can triangulate the different cell phone towers, and we can figure out that you're in a building, and the building lets us see what's being purchased, and we can link the purchase to the time you were there and extrapolate, even without your credit card data, that was probably you that made a purchase,
Yep.
and now we can redirect ads at you. It's
Yeah.
like that level of sophistication, is that they start to figure out, what are you buying? Where are you going? And they extrapolate from your behavior patterns, and now you're suggesting that they will literally manipulate pricing?
Correct. Yeah, they're changing the price because they know your behavior and your spending habits, and so, well, if they know that you don't really coupon or whatever, they might just give you full price or slightly higher than full price. But the person who's like a super couponer, they know that the only way they make that sale is if they offer a promotion. So you might actually get a coupon in real time that says, hey, buy this product, here's a coupon. Yep, it worked, we got you.
You want to hear a true story?
Yes.
I can give this away because, I mean, it's enough times past that I didn't even know how to do it, but I had this concept of augmented reality that was probably 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So 10 years ago, the idea was that you could take your cell phone, and it knows your location, and you could turn a camera on, and it could see where you were at, and then based on the location and what it saw, it would then figure out what, in real time, where you were, and offer coupons just in real time based on your location.
Yeah.
So that was an idea. It's like, there's a restaurant where it's slow, and they actually had variable pricing where people that were nearby would get coupons so that the restaurant would draw people in, even though they would had to offer a coupon. It's during slow time, so it would improve the revenue of the restaurant.
Yep.
Right, and so that was the idea, was like just-in-time delivery of coupons based on geolocation. And then beyond that, it was, what if you could actually have certain signs that if you looked through them through the lens of your phone, it would show you something different than what the sign normally saw. So customized signage. Mm-hmm. They kind of do that now on like the NBA and stuff. You see on TV these like things that aren't really there, but it looks like a sign embedded in it. Or on a football field, it looks like there's an advertiser.
Yeah. Amazon's
on the grass.
marketing's gotten really good. If you're watching on Amazon Prime, it knows your cart, right? It knows what you've been buying, so it's custom tailoring the ads to you, and it allows you to actually skip an ad in real time. While you're watching live TV, you can skip an ad, and then it will bring you the next ad that is targeting you again, and if you like it, there's a thing where you can tap on your remote and say, buy it. So like there's interactive purchasing that's targeted to you while you're just watching TV.
This, by the way, goes all the way back to why budgeting is so critical.
Because it's so easy to spend money. And
It's
even down
really
to
easy.
like Safeway, right? Like Safeway's gotten better at this. They have the digital just for you coupons, right? And
Well, you say right. I mean, I don't typically shop at Safeway with any
Okay.
regularity, so I haven't seen this.
well, I've noticed that on the products that I buy, right? I think and this is a theory, so I could be wrong here, but the stuff that I buy, I get a lot more coupons for it. The coupons aren't that substantial, but it'll be like, do you want 5 cents off this yogurt? It knows that I like that yogurt, and it wants me to buy more of them. So I'll give you
Sure.
5 cents off. Do you want to buy this? And it's, okay, yeah, I need 10 of them. Boom. So it made way more in sales. It's getting smarter. The engine is getting smarter and smarter and smarter.
Now, the question, though, is, does it try to
So
manipulate you. It's one thing to
Yes.
say, well, let me offer you a better deal to incentivize a bigger purchase. It's a different thing entirely that you and I both walk into the store, we're going to buy the same item, and
Yeah.
you pay more and I pay less because it knows our buying habits.
Right.
It seems to me that that's not the way capitalism was designed. Like
Or is it? What if?
I don't think it is. I mean, I could make the academic case why this is market manipulation and it's not capitalism.
Can you also make the case why it would be capitalism?
No.
Just not fair capitalism.
Well,
It's not ethical, right? In a way.
So I actually don't think I can.
Okay.
Because capitalism, by definition, has price discovery through competition. Okay. This is the same problem with the insurance, for example, is we don't have real capitalism. We don't want real capitalism, by the way.
In what
that's-
regard?
You know what? This is the best place. It's a little early. It's a little
Okay.
early, but I'm going to say let's take the break now. When we'll come back, you want to ask like,
I feel like we're about to
like-
dump a bunch of gasoline on a fire. I'm interested.
okay, the question was about capitalism, right? Have I ever seen real capitalism, or do we want it? Right?
Okay.
We're good. There's gotchas. We love capitalism, but stick around and we'll talk about it. I'm Dave Littlejohn.
And Matt Dixon.
And you got True Wealth on News Radio 93.9 FM and 1240 KQEN.
It's a great setup. It's okay that we took an early break there. It was a good
Yeah,
setup.
and Kyle was on top of it. The music hit spot on. So,
I have a theory where you're going with this.
go ahead.
Unrestrained-
We're still
Yeah.
live streaming, so like,
I
help.
think you're
help it
going to
out.
say that unrestrained capitalism leads to monopolies and then a lack of being able to have price discovery.
So that's where it heads,
Okay.
right? Unrestrained capitalism doesn't stay capitalism.
Right. It turns into.
Right. So what we want is as much capitalism as we can get. But it's a little bit like if you had no speed limits and no rules, right? Anarchy produces terrible results. Lockdowns produce terrible results. Somewhere is an efficient mix,
And the hard part.
right?
is
Like we could
who
talk for a minute about the
determines it, yeah.
concept of the Laffer curve. This is a really great example. I don't know that it's totally relevant for today's show, but the Laffer curve is this idea that at some point, raising taxes reduces in the revenue to the IRS. Like it actually becomes an economic headwind great enough to reduce overall income in the economy, and so you start you actually start to receive less because you ate the seed corn, if you will, right? Like you
Okay.
killed the thing that was thriving. So what you want is enough fuel for the engine to be maxed out, but not so much that you flood it.
That makes sense.
And that's the same thing with taxes as the Laffer curve. I think it's like that in capitalism too. You want it to be like close to maxed out, but if you totally just dump the throttle, you flood it and you create other problems. It's a good analogy. Why did it's probably going to have to get reset on air, just so you guys know, because I'm like, hey, people will get that.
Can you remember that? And can you say
Like,
it
yeah,
back
the
again?
problem now is it's like, how's that going to work with modern day fuel injection? I'll be like, stop it! You're going to ruin it! Give it in the context of Oscar. Oscar's like my 73 International pickup that needs a new home. All right, here we go.
Did you just say Alfred needs a new home?
Welcome back to the True Wealth Radio Show. I'm your host, Dave Littlejohn, in studio with
Matt Dixon.
All right, and remember, we always do the podcast promo right now. This is the thing where we go, if you haven't caught up yet, you can get the first segment tomorrow. You can listen to the whole thing start to finish podcast. So it'll get published tomorrow, but it's live right now. And today, we're talking about becoming better purchasers and being aware of some of the games that are going on out there in the marketplace that are designed to potentially take advantage of buyers. Not provide an advantage to buyers, take advantage, right?
Right.
They're going to maybe ding you harder if you're not paying attention.
There we go.
But at the break, Matt set me up,
I did.
okay? And you set me up with a loaded question about capitalism. You want to remind our listeners what you asked?
Yeah, you were kind of. Remind me what you were talking about, because then I said, "Is that capitalism?"
You asked me about, I said you don't want pure capitalism. And then you kind of went, well, explain why. So
yeah, that's what it was. Correct. So explain why not pure capitalism?
Well, first you asked me if there's ever a scenario when capitalism could have predatory pricing. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
And my answer to you was, I don't think so. Right? Like I said no. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because it's not the definitional. Like, can you have a scenario where that happens? Oh, yeah.
Oh, the story of like two people walk into a grocery store.
Yes.
One gets a different price than the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the question is like, well, is that capitalism anymore? And I said, not really. Okay? I mean, again, I said no, but we're gonna say, well, why not? Hey, now, you didn't ask me if it's possible.
I'll try and argue the opposite side of this, because we like to argue this.
You didn't ask me, is it possible this could happen? Sure it is.
Yeah.
Okay? You didn't ask me, is it ethical if this happens? Right? Debatable.
Right.
Okay? We asked, is this pure capitalism? And the answer is no. Because in capitalism, you have competition and price discovery.
Yes.
Okay? And what you have in this scenario is the inability to discover price because of manipulation. So that ceases to be pure capitalism. There's some type of interventionist strategy. Now remember, I also said you don't want pure capitalism. And some people are going to like rage quit and say like, no, you totally do, rah, 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 rah. And they'll say it just like that.
Sure.
And I'm going to say, no, you really don't. You may want, these are the same people that are like, I don't want any building code. You should just build whatever you want and buyer beware. And I go, well, you say that, and then you realize that you don't have a table saw because there's no standardized delivery of power to even get it to your work site so that you can build the thing that you want to build with no oversight. Mm-hmm. You know? And like, how are you going to get there? On the road that there was some standard that the government agreed upon to get it there? Or the utilities that got delivered? Or are you really like, nope, first I'm going to go hand harvest all the timber with my bow saw, and then I'm going to mill everything by hand to make a water mill so that I can create a, like, no, you're not. You're not a pioneer. Right? And I'm taking it really extreme and we're being kind of dumb about it. But no, pure capitalism moves to monopoly because that's what every business is trying to do, is trying to get 100% market share, control the entire thing. And once you have 100% market share, there is no competition. So you can price whatever you want. So what we want is as much capitalism as we can get without the system beginning to cannibalize itself or harm people. Now that's a super gray area.
It is.
Because there's a bunch of people who are like, well, it's harming people right now. And they go, well, there's no system that saves everybody. Because there's accidents, there's people that won't put in the same effort as somebody else. And so then they will say, well, that's what communism and socialism were about. I said, but the problem is that it ruins the motivation for the most productive. And the most productive, we just know statistically 20% carry about 80% of the load. Mm-hmm. And that was the Pareto principle. There's another one, I forget what it's called, but essentially 10% of a business produces 80% of the revenue. So if you have 1,000 employees, roughly 10% of the employees are doing 90% of the work. That's the bureaucratic bloat. There's a different rule for that, but it's that rule essentially is held true that you usually fire about half of the workforce, and the business doesn't cease. It doesn't run as at 100%, but it doesn't. If you fire half the people, you don't lose half the production. Mm-hmm. Because what ends up happening is a disproportionate number of people are carrying the majority of the load.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so that's the problem with socialism and communism, is if you're not one of the productive people, then you're mooching off of them. And then when they quit, that's the book Atlas Shrugged, right? I mean, that's the idea, is that if the productive people stop showing up, the system stops going.
Yeah.
And so then, we can have the debate, well, can AI be the productive member so that work is optional? I don't know. I mean, can we robot and automate everything to the point that all we have to do is work out and do artwork? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Right?
I kind of doubt it too.
But that's sort of
I know that's what Elon keeps
weird
touting,
theory.
but yeah.
So anyway, we don't currently want unrestrained capitalism. So we want as free a market as possible.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, I think.
Yeah.
Because
So
monopolies can happen pretty quickly, and
or
if there's-
oligopolies,
Yeah.
which is just a handful of people that all agree to sort of fix prices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are Microsoft and Google and Facebook really competing with each other? Or are they all just propping the market up?
It's a good question.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it is a reasonable question. Now, we say that to then ask the question that Matt wanted to ask, which is, all right, can you find me an example where predatory capitalism's still capitalism?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you go back to that question, like, is it still capitalism if two people walk in and each of them gets a different price? And I'm like, well, like, to me, it's like kind of like okay, I'll give you an example. So a shady used car salesman is at the lot and he has a vehicle for sale. And Michael Jordan pulls up and he's got 2 handfuls of cash. And another person pulls up that's looking really ratty, right? And that guy just really wants to make a sale. And for whatever reason, Jordan walks up and says, yeah, I'm interested in that car. How much is it? And he hasn't seen the price sticker yet. And you tell him, $5,000 above what was really being asked. And then the same person, or a different person, the person that's in the ratty clothes walks up and says, well, how much for this vehicle? You still really want to make a sale. And you say $2,000 less than what was posted on the car. Mm-hmm. Is that still capitalism?
Yes.
Right.
So that is. Now, the reason is because there was actual negotiation. Mm-hmm. So there's price discovery.
Okay.
When there's no negotiation.
And it's just a fixed price that you can't negotiate against?
And you do have the option of not buying it.
Correct.
Right? So that there's still capital elements to this.
Yeah.
The issue is that when there's no price discovery is if you walk in and you don't know what it costs until you pay for it, and then there's two different prices.
Yeah, now that would be definitely not capitalism.
Right? If I walk in and it shows me that this is how much it costs, I'm still relatively capitalist. There was price discovery and I got to make the decision.
I can agree with that.
But the manipulative part of that is,
it's not
do
ethical.
I get to know? It's always the Las Vegas minibar theory, right? Like, let's say you go to Las Vegas and you're not even drinking out of the minibar, but you get a bottle of water out of the minibar. They don't tell you what it costs. And when you go to check out, you discover it was a $15 bottle of water for something that you could buy at Walgreens down the street for 85 cents.
Right.
Now, that to me is borderline predatory because they incentivized you without showing you the price and without giving you a way to negotiate. Now, what somebody would argue, the economists would say, you didn't have to take it. And they're right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where you get into the gray area and the ethical questions around capitalism.
Right.
Is, if you are trying to skirt price discovery and manipulate people or otherwise sucker them into it, because that's really what you're saying is in the used car sale example is, well, is somebody a sucker and they'll pay too much?
Yep. That really is the question.
We actually are getting to where Matt's wiring is, by the way. When we talk about being a deal searcher, this is the wiring is, it's the item is only, the perceived value of the item goes up if you feel like you have achieved an above average deal on it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because for Matt, finding the deal is sport.
It is. I won't hide behind that at all. Like, I love finding the best deal possible and then taking that really good deal and turning it into a means of either personal use or profit.
Yeah. So you would buy things and turn around and try to resell them at a profit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So in that sense, you're kind of acting as like a retailer. Let me try to buy it wholesale and then sell it at retail.
Yeah.
Which again, that's fine. There's some people out there listening that are just cringing, going, I don't want to do any of that.
No, a lot of people don't like interacting with people too. It gives them an amount of like almost anxiety where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to try and negotiate. A lot of people don't like to negotiate.
Well,
it's wild.
It feels like confrontation.
It does, yeah. I mean, I sold something on Marketplace recently, and there was no like haggling over the price. It was like, is that your price? Yeah, that's what the price says. Okay, well, that's fine. And I'm like, well, you could have negotiated it. I would have dropped the price $300-400. I wanted it gone, but you really wanted it, and you didn't want to negotiate. So, well, there it goes.
That is part of the way it works.
Yeah.
So I would still say that's a reasonable price discovery.
Yeah.
Publish the price. They were okay with it.
Yeah.
And so a transaction was acceptable. Now, whether or not it's optimized is a different question.
Oh, that's a way different question. Yeah.
Right?
I feel like people have lost the art of negotiation when it comes to a lot of things. Like, even like you're going to buy a house, right? Like, people aren't shopping this stuff. They're just like, oh, well, whatever someone said that the mortgage rate is what it is. And so it's like, well, did you shop it? Because I remember when we first bought our first home, like we got told, I think it was like 4.6%. And then I'm like, okay. And then I contacted another group and well, we'll do 4.2. And then you go back to the original lender and, well, this person said 4.2. Do you want to match it, or do I need to go fill out all the paperwork again over here? Oh, no, we'll match that. That's fine. We'll even do you one better. How about 4.18 just to get your business? So it's like, this is America. This is the best part about living here.
Yeah.
There is so much opportunity.
Well, the fascinating thing is what happens when you say, well, give me your best price, and they say, I did.
Well, then you have to make a decision of, is that service valuable at that price point?
And there are still some environments where it's hard. There are services where you don't know what it's going to cost until after it's performed.
Oh, those are the worst. I can't stand those situations.
Okay.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah.
Don't even make me walk down that road. If I can't get a definitive price, I'm just going to do it myself.
He's officially at the pre-TSD right now. So okay. Well, look, we are at break time, so we're going to do that. We're going to grab a break here. When we come back, I'm going to explore this a little bit more, the concept of variable pricing, but the angle's going to start to change here. We're going to talk about, Matt, how do people negotiate these things? How do you decide when you can get a better price?
Okay,
That and
let's
more.
do that.
Stick around. I'm Dave Littlejohn.
And Matt Dixon.
And you got True Wealth on News Radio 93.9 FM and 1240 KQEN.
I love it. It's a good setup. It's a good setup for the
He's
segue.
like, let me talk about the deal here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing is you have to be willing to ask or you're willing to accept.
That's a good one. I like that.
All right? I mean, if you don't ask, then you accept. Now, isn't it interesting that some areas we don't even bother to negotiate?
Dude, that's the crazy thing.
Well, but is it? Like, are you going to negotiate at the grocery store?
That's like the only place I won't negotiate. I'll negotiate everything everywhere else, just not at the grocery store.
What's funny is I've even negotiated at some stores that you don't think you can that you do not think you can negotiate at.
Yeah.
Like Costco. This is
Really?
the last item on the shelf. You're not bringing it back. It's got the little asterisk and it's the double zeros and you want it
done
gone.
that?
And I go to the manager and like, oh, this thing's coming down, and it's like, hey, so is there any wiggle room on this as the last item if I'm taking it off your hands right now?
They want to get their square footage back.
They
Go make
do,
more.
and sometimes it's like, yeah, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm like a fixture at Costco. I should be an employee, so
Yeah. There you go.
it's funny.
that.
I love
Retail stores will negotiate. Like, I went on my wife's Christmas present. It was like a couple like Carhartt sweatshirts, and I was at Dick's Sporting Goods, and the price was what it said that it was, and I found some like hokey website somewhere that had it for like $10 less, and I'm like, do you want to match this random website? I guess so. Why not? Boom. So you save $20. It's like, yes, yes.
Again, did I mention sport?
It's $20. Like,
No. So, true story. Costco the other day, and we had our Pebble ice maker die,
Oh.
which breaks my heart a little bit because it turns
My
out
wife really wants an ice maker. Do you use yours a lot?
on the daily.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like
So you highly recommend?
I like It's the Sonic ice, the Pebble ice that's crunchy.
Like the circular ones,
No, not the.
not the circle pellets.
No, like the little nugget ice. That's
Oh yeah.
like the nugget ice is so
Kinda like shaved ice
almost like a
almost.
slushy.
Yeah.
You know, like not. It's bigger than that, but you can
Is
almost
there
make it
different
slushy.
settings on the machine that let you choose what type of ice you want?
Maybe some machines, not the one I have. I
Hmm.
went for the one that just produces a lot.
And it broke.
Well, the old one broke. It was a
Hmm.
gift I didn't know that I needed. It was a Christmas gift 3 years ago.
Did
And
Costco actually take that back?
No, we didn't take it back.
Oh.
No, I mean at
Did
some
you get
point,
a new one at Costco?
I did get the new one at Costco.
How much was it?
Well, it was $250.
$250?
But I was there the other day and they dropped it $50 and they gave me the difference.
I thought ice makers were like $25. Oh man.
Well, yeah, I mean if they're like ice trays.
Oh. This is depressing me. Cheyenne, if you're listening to this, no,
No.
you cannot have the ice maker.
You have to be listening to the live stream. We're talking about ice makers during the break. I love the Nugget ice maker. And Matt's like, how much did it cost? And I told him, he's like, what?
I thought you had to move a decimal. Jeez.
No,
Louise.
no, they're not that cheap. But again, it's a daily driver for me. I really
My wife
like,
wants one to make iced coffees in the morning, which if you make iced coffees in the morning, you're a little weird to me. Like, Cheyenne, if you're listening, this is weird. Coffee should be hot in the morning and cold in the afternoon. If you're making iced coffees in the morning, no. No.
Well,
That's my stance on iced coffee.
this is the True Wealth Show, ladies and gentlemen, where we debate pretty much anything.
We'll debate coffee. Yes.
Like, True Wealth is iced coffee in the afternoon, not in the morning.
Well, and why do you get iced coffees when you can get a blended coffee? A blended coffee is like a smoothie, and it's delicious. But an iced coffee melts and gets watery, and I don't know. Blended coffees are better.
Well, I will say I have some of these like battery powered hand blender
Mm-hmm.
deals, and they're not that powerful. But if you fill it with nugget ice instead of ice cubes,
Okay.
it's already kind of crushed up and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll get it done. You could like make a slushy in there.
Yeah, so I want you to pour your coffee in there with your ice, put some chocolate chips in there, some heavy cream, really like mix it up.
Yeah, that could be done.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not scared to see this. And now your life has been enriched by this program. Everybody's
has.
like, hey, iced coffee
Someone's
with heavy
pulling-
cream and chocolate chips.
Someone's pulling into a Dutch Bros right now. They're like, they talked me into that afternoon iced coffee.
I knew it. I don't have a blender myself, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
And for $11 or whatever it costs now
It
for a
doesn't
coffee.
cost anything because you move the money to the app, and
Oh,
then when
jeez.
you buy it, the money's just in the app, not out of your bank
Okay,
account.
you want to hear my theory about pretty much all of these coffee shops? They're all banks.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's like, what? They serve coffee. Nope. They sell you on the idea that you can put everything on an app by prepaying, and then you've loaned them money with no interest until you use it. And so you're just making these deposits. Starbucks has got to love all those gift cards in circulation.
Dude,
Half of
imagine-
them get lost, and they just keep the money.
Imagine how the U.S. Treasury feels with all those paper certificates that are still floating around out there because no one wants to go in and actually.
Wasn't there a Christmas movie about that? Bearer bonds in a vault somewhere. Hans. If you know, you know, right? Everybody that just got that reference should think that was awesome. And if you didn't get the reference, you should go look up more Bruce Willis movies. So, anyway, back to how
home
to
base.
help people track down better deals. So first, I think we're now into the land of good consumer. Now, why is this relevant to investors? By the
Well,
way?
because if you're overspending, that's less money that you can be saving.
Yes,
and,
and-
padding
and
your financial future with.
I was going even bigger than that. I was going to say price discovery matters when you're investing as well. Right? I'm not making recommendations here, but I will. Let's talk just briefly about this year. There was the IPO of SpaceX.
Yep.
And everybody was clamoring initially to get in, and the price was climbing like crazy. And then it promptly afterwards collapsed. And now who knows where the future price of this is going to be. But isn't it fascinating? Because how do you know how to value a company like that?
Well, first you get a little bit of fairy dust, and you mix that up with the tears of a leprechaun. And you sprinkle that into
Stir
the
it with the
wind.
unicorn's horn.
And then you do a dance, and the number will come to you.
Okay. That's about as good an explanation as any, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
The answer is really difficult to discern. There's no comparisons. Everything is sort of a swag extrapolation. And at some point, the market's figuring it out, not by what it may or may not actually be worth, but just what are people willing to pay? There was enough hype around it that some people were willing to buy it. And then we ran out of those people when other people wanted to sell, and there weren't other people willing to buy, and the price started dropping. And that's basically how an auction works. But that's capitalism in a nutshell. Or I should say, that's economic theory in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. So let's talk about the first story of early on, Matt. You talked about flock cameras.
Yep.
Ha ha. And then we giggle like, sophomores. But with that led us to the idea that there could be variable pricing based on your behavior.
Right.
And let's get out of the theory of whether or not it's ethical, right, wrong, or otherwise.
Okay.
It's still out there potentially.
Mm-hmm.
How do you protect yourself and make it such that you are less likely to be taken advantage of?
Yeah, I think one of the most generic pieces of advice is you got to be a little bit, in this day and era, you got to be a little bit more sensitive with some of the information that you let leak out there.
Hey, go on. Help. What does that mean?
Okay,
try
so
to walk our listeners through it.
Yeah, how many people have downloaded an app and they ask you a bunch of questions and you never read what they're asking, you just hit allow, right? And by the time it's all said and done, you've downloaded 60 apps and they could be running in the background and you've allowed them, because you authorized it, to monitor this, that, or the other. And so everything that's taking place, for example, on your phone, it's learning your spending habits, your behavior habits, where you drive from. It's learned everything about you. And so now it's directly taking that information and using it to try and convince you to spend more money.
Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Something's beeping. We don't even know.
Is that your phone?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think we're off air
Nope.
for a second. Amber
Maybe,
alert.
Amber alert. There we go. Let's see how long this goes for.
Are we back? Are we up and running?
I think we may be back. Okay. Well, that was an interesting but brief interruption. We're talking about deal hunting or
Yeah.
not getting taken. So first of all, this idea that your data is in circulation.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about it. You may not have put it out there intentionally. Also,
But-
it may not be that they have all of the data. They are extrapolating from your behavior patterns and others, and they see other people that have similar patterns.
Yeah.
And so they observe that and then apply sort of the same playbook to you.
I think one good thing to do would be to not just every time you're being advertised to, clicking on it and buying. A lot of people are really reactionary. It's like, oh yeah.
Does that really happen like that? A lot. I mean, now do you know people that indiscriminately just click yes on the ad online and just buy stuff?
Yeah, I think it's really, really common. I think
Really?
Yeah, because I think so. Your personality trait characteristics, I think, are different than a lot of people, right? I think that this direct to consumer advertising is getting people in a big, big way, because everything is so personalized. And I think it almost worked on me the other day. My wife and I were out this is no joke. We were out there on the water and we had the kids on the boat. The sun is out and she's complaining about the kids are getting too much sun. The next day, I'm at my grandpa's house, I'm sitting there, and this ad pops up for this awesome deal where the a shade tent threads into the bottom of your boat, and boom, there's shade over your entire boat.
Okay.
And I came so close to hitting order. But my wife and I, anytime a purchase is a decent size, we kind of talk about it. And I'm like, man, am I really about to spend $300? And I'm like, Cheyenne, do you think that you'd actually like this for the kids? And she's like, well, we only take them out a couple, 2-3 times a year. It's probably not really worth buying it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, sweet, I saved $300. I was going to do it.
You
because-
saved three. No, you did. You didn't lose $300 on an item you didn't really need.
Well, I was about to buy it, but I didn't. So
I'm
by
just
not
being
buying
careful
it,
with the math, because you're like, well, I'd committed to buying it and then I uncommitted, so it was like saving $300. I'm like, wait, now you've just freed up $300 in your mind to go spend frivolously because, well, it would have gone there anyway, but it didn't, so now I can put it somewhere else. That to me sounds like just a weird way to rationalize spending anytime you want to.
dude math. No.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's like somewhere somebody's joking about girl math, and that is dude math, though.
Dude math,
and
right
it's the
there.
same thing.
That's funny. But yeah, I think that this direct, when it's listening to you and it's like picking up on what it needs to advertise, that's a tough one because it's like meeting every single one of your needs in real time. Sure, I can meet your need. I can meet your need.
So, is there a threshold for you where it's big enough that you don't just do it, though? I mean, it's one thing if somebody's like, "Oh, it's $6 or whatever," and you go, "Okay, well, $6, I'll never miss that."
Yeah.
But when $300, I would think you would notice.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, I was like, well, my wife and I tend to talk about anything to that
I
extent.
think we're also discovering something about Matthew.
Yeah.
So here's a hint for his Christmas list. Okay, Matthew loves the outdoors, but this was an outdoor camping-y, gadgety thing. Mm-hmm. And outdoor camping-y, gadgety stuff is like, they've got your number.
They
right?
know,
They're
they
like,
know.
oh, wait a second, are you headed to the co-op?
Yeah.
Don't mind if you do.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Although I doubt the co-op is doing the same kind of advertising retargeting that some of the larger chain stores are.
Yeah. But we do live in a time frame where this is like rapidly evolving and changing. And I think that's why you're starting to see some of the legislation being passed that allows people to opt out at a crazy rate so that like different vendors can't use that information.
Well, let's come back to this. Let's grab our last break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the ways to protect yourself. There's this huge difference between in-store and online.
So people might not have to just sell everything and move into a cabin with no electricity.
We'll see. Stick
okay.
around. I'm Dave Littlejohn.
And Matt Dixon.
You got True Wealth on News Radio 92.9 FM and 1240 KQEN.
Okay, David, you set this up perfectly. People want to know. Give me something. Help me not be targeted.
So I don't even know if that can happen anymore. I still am hung up on this idea that you think, and I mean you're probably not far from the truth, but folks just indiscriminately buy stuff online. Is it from trusted vendors?
Oh,
there's-
a lot of the times, no.
That's the craziness to me. It's like you're saying you're just going to dump your credit card information anywhere on the internet and see what happens?
People do it. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me. And you wonder why this country is like, the average American household has what, like $10,000 in credit card debt or more? And it's like, how? Well, they don't think, they just do. And so we're like, hey, maybe
maybe
about this
maybe the
harder.
message is, well, what you need is a healthier dose of paranoia. Because for me, anytime a credit card number starts tap dancing on a screen, I'm like, I want to know who this vendor is.
Yeah, I've almost gotten scammed so many times.
So that's why I like Apple Pay, because it's like a one-time transaction that doesn't expose the credit card behind it.
Yeah.
It's why I like PayPal, even though it's got its own demons. It's like there's guarantee structures in between and there's protection.
I almost bought like $300 worth of ammunition off this one website, and then I started looking into like Better Business Bureau on that company. It's basically a complete fraudulent website.
Oh, we were never off the air. We just got an Amber Alert, so good. Well, we learned to keep going.
So, well, that's a really weird buzzing noise then. Here's a general good rule.
Yeah.
Here's how you spend less money. Because people don't know how to spend less money. You can tell them to spend less money, but that doesn't mean anything. A good way to spend less money is if you want something, wait 2 weeks, and then see if you still want it.
All right, welcome back to the True
Kinda
Wealth
like
Radio
tattoos.
Show, where we are covering the finer details of, I guess, being a better consumer in a world where they're getting more sophisticated at separating you from your money.
Yep.
We've been discussing offline again. I'm still sort of blown away by the idea. Matt, you seem quite convinced that a bunch of people will just, whatever they see online, if it looks interesting, they'll just buy it. They don't really look through the source on the website or any of that. They just, and so, which to me just sounds like scam land.
A lot of scammers out there.
There's just all kinds of alarms that go off. So I talked about, like, I tend to use, I like using a digital wallet, so like either Google Wallet or Apple Wallet, as a way to separate the actual card, because they get unique transaction IDs, so it's not turning over the credit card number directly in those transactions. Also, using companies, these are not endorsements, by the way, or recommendations, but like a PayPal or a known credit card processor, because they stand in between you and the transaction to help verify authenticity, give you some consumer protection. And you're saying a lot of people, doesn't even occur to them. They just throw their banking or their credit card information online and hope for the best.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't research the website either to see if it's a fraudulent website. Like, I saw this deal on some ammunition, and I was like, oh man, I can save $2 a box. And I was getting ready to place a pretty good size order, and I went to the Better Business Bureau's website to see, like, what are people saying about this company. The reviews were horrible, and almost everyone said that it was a complete scam of a website. And I'm like, oh, well, this is why you got
you dodged that bullet.
Ah, look at that pun. Well placed. Well placed.
So, it's funny because there's different levels to the conversation today. One of them's about basically internet hygiene. Do you have good behavior online to protect yourself from scams? That's one.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually address the bigger issue of people that are making purchases on a whim.
Yeah.
And again, that one's harder for me because it's not something I natively do. I tend to overthink things rather than be really kind of impulsive.
I'm the type of person that really just like, oh, I see that, that's great, let's do it, right? Like, but I've learned that one of the ways that this kind of works for me. I tend to try and like, okay, well, I want this thing, right? Do I want it in 2 weeks? Because for me, in 2 weeks, I could be down a completely different rabbit hole.
This is very accurate, just so everybody knows.
So I tend to try.
It could be 10 minutes, just in case you were curious.
So if it's any sort of semi-large purchase of any sort, it's like, well, let's give this thing 2 weeks and then see if I really want it. And so I feel like a lot of people could benefit from that because they're always like, well, how do I save? And I think it's like, well, give yourself a cooling off period. Do you really want the tattoo? Give it a couple weeks. Oh, I was going to get a goldfish, and now, I want a tattoo of a tree.
Now it's a salmon.
Yeah, it's like, in 2 weeks, maybe it's like SpongeBob. Just give it 2 weeks. There's my advice of the day.
Yeah, well, a lot of these decisions, the old adage I say is slow them down, right? Like, give it time for your logic brain to do some thinking about it. The impulsive brain, that's the one that makes decisions on emotions and sacrifices accuracy for speed. That is the challenge, I think. So if folks are behaving as you suggest, again, I get the sense a lot of our listeners, the kind of people that listen to a show about finance, tend to think about their money a little different than that. So I'm guessing that, since we have the smartest listeners, I think that they probably get this.
Yeah. Here's another piece of advice I'll throw out there. If you really do want something and it's been more than 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever, just try and get it 50% off, right? Like, there was this boat I wanted, and I've been talking about boats a lot, but there was a boat I really wanted, and I wanted this boat for like 10 years, and the price had always hovered at this certain point. And then one day, this guy posted the boat I'd always wanted for like a fourth of what it should have been posted for. And I managed to somehow get it. So it's like, well, it makes it even that much sweeter because if you end up not liking it or you want to get rid of it, now you can get rid of it at a profit. So be patient, buy the things that you really, really want at a big discount, and then if you end up keeping them, you got a great deal. And if you don't like it, you can sell it and make some money.
And it's funny because I would look at this through a different lens, because I would say, well, is your option, what level of entrepreneurship is in your life? And how does your time factor into this? Because if you can redirect time somewhere else that generates revenue, it may be cheaper to make the decision quickly to get it over with and get on to the thing that moves the needle for you.
It could.
That's not everybody's situation, right? Some
True.
people, I earn when I'm working and I know what my hourly trade rate is. Okay, well then you operate within a budget constraint that's different. For other people, I can work as many hours as I want to work and I can just trade hours for it. Okay, different set of trade. Then still other people, well, my work leverages differently. So if I go do, this, it produces an outcome that looks different. So businesses do this all the time, by the way. It's when they start hiring employees, right? Oh, I can't get to this efficiently. I'm going to hire another person to help do that part so I can do another part of the business.
Right.
They do that because that's an investment in the business becoming more profitable. Now, a lot of people view employees as expenses. As a amateur business coach, amateur meaning I don't get paid to do this, but I tell people stuff all the time. That's a terrible attitude about your employees.
Yeah.
Right? They are an investment in a successful business. If you view them as an expense, it's overhead. Don't get me wrong, but change your attitude about that and see how it changes the way the culture of your company operates. Because I think that people like to be invested in just as much as you like profits.
Yeah.
So. But there's your side advice for the day, right?
Do you got any more advice for the consumer out there that is?
You look at
saying,
more than
hey,
one place for price.
Yeah.
A lot of people get sort of stuck in a zone where, I just went to Amazon and that's the only place I looked. Amazon is not necessarily the best price anymore. If they have the item, it tends to be the best price because of the way that they decide whether or not an item should exist. But a lot of companies are discovering that there are other places where you can do direct business and get a better price than through an online retailer. So I would look at the other places that you can get something. And then the other is, some things are okay to buy pre-owned, other things less so. And so you should understand the difference between something that you could buy that somebody else has already owned and you can get a better bargain at it, versus something that you really don't want to share and you should be the first edition.
No pre-owned underwear.
Yeah, I would say that's generally not. There's certain things that you just kind of go, doesn't seem like that ought to be the way to do it. That's to each their own about how they assess that. But there are some things. But I think the biggie is shopping is so easy online, right? You could actually be in a store and check a price online.
Yeah.
And just make sure that is still
How
reasonable.
often have you been at a store where you go someplace and it's like $27 and then you look online and it's $22? Have you ever just been like,
It does bother me. I think this is a sickness for financial planners, by the way, is they just like bargain hunting. At least I think you should want your financial planner to like bargain hunting. It tends to be better for your money.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, final hours of the day here. We got a dash. Here's what I would tell you in closing. Reminder, we have that estate planning trust and will workshop. It's going to be Thursday. It's technically full. We're actually, but we still encourage you to give a call if you're interested. If anybody drops off the list and we've got space, we'll call and let you know. But it's technically full. But give our office a call if you're interested. We can also let you know when we're going to do the next one. Number at the office, 541-375-0898, or you can email to info@littlejohnfs.com. All right. But that's the music, so we're officially out of time. Matt, anything else that you think they need to know?
Yeah, give us a call, 541-375-0898.
All right, gang. Until next time, it's been a pleasure. You've been listening to True Wealth. I'm Dave Littlejohn.
And Matt Dixon.
And you've been listening to News Radio 1240 K.